Hi everybody, Andy here again. About a week ago I did a video about the World Cup, Football World Cup, Soccer World Cup that's going on in South Africa at the moment, and I thought I'd do a bit of an update after watching the England game yesterday and things that have taken my notice over the past week. So once again, if you're not a football fan, look away now. Go and watch something else that would be far more interesting to you. First off, I was talking last week about different elements, how about the football wasn't that great, and it still hasn't really improved that much. Yes, there's been a few more goals around, but still a lot of the games are being decided by one goal, the odd goal in the game. I did hear a suggestion the other day that one of the reasons for this could possibly be because there's been a few upsets in the footballing world. Spain getting beaten, France not doing very well, the Germans getting beaten and missing penalties and this type of thing. All fairly unusual, and even you could possibly even say teams like England not doing that well, although we tend to expect that, but I will come to that in a minute. But the suggestion is that so many of the supposedly lesser teams, in inverted commas, and I'm not denigrating them in any way whatsoever, have got a lot better. They've got a lot more organised. They realise now how to disrupt teams, frustrate teams in defence, etc. They're far better defensively than they used to be, and they rely on maybe the odd breakaway to score a goal, or just generally to frustrate and play for a draw. Now, some people might say, "Oh, that's not very good playing for a draw," but that's the way that they go. They're capitalising on what maybe they do well, and it's up to the other teams to actually get a way around that. Whether it be England, France, Germany, Spain, anybody, they've got to find a way through these teams. Otherwise, if you want to play football, you want to win tournaments and prove that you're the best in the world. You need to be able to beat everybody in the world, not just the best teams in the world as well. That's why so quite often it's the lesser teams that frustrate, and it's only when the sort of the big teams get together that the football standard seems to go up because they're allowed to play a little bit more, I suppose. So that's one aspect. The England aspect, I watched the game last night against Algeria, and like everybody else, I think if it hadn't been for the fact that it was England, I wouldn't have watched it. I'm always frustrated watching England. I never enjoy watching England play football because I am so often frustrated by the way that they play, and you're just waiting for them to get beaten or for Algeria to score. And I actually think Algeria were the better team last night, must be said. They played better football. Wasn't a great game by any means, but England were dire by anybody's standards, I think. Against the USA, they didn't play too badly. Maybe they're a bit unlucky, but once again, they should be able to beat teams supposedly that are lesser teams than them, as I said before, but they didn't. But then there's that part at the end where all the fans were booing, and I didn't see it myself, but I've seen it since, of Wayne Rooney going off the pitch and saying into a TV camera, "Oh, it's great," in a very sarcastic manner. "Oh, isn't it great to hear your own fans booing you?" Well, that's what they're going to do, Wayne. If they've paid all that money to get over to South Africa, to actually get there, to stay there, to travel around to see you, to pay for the tickets for the games, which I don't expect are particularly cheap because all these packages and that are so well managed now and all the prices get inflated, etc. You've taken time off work or whatever it is, you might be one of these fans that travels around the world following England football. No pity you, the people that do. And so you spend all that time, effort and money. I think you're entitled to show your frustration, whether it be for booing or whatever. If I'd have been there, I was metaphorically booing at the performance myself from my own room here in the house, let alone if I'd have been however many thousand miles away in South Africa watching that in Cape Town yesterday, I would have been damned annoyed and I would have been very, very frustrated to see a team like that. They weren't a team playing, whether it's the fault of the manager, whether it's the fault of anybody. It's ultimately it comes down to the players. I'm not saying they didn't put the effort in particularly, but they're just clueless for what they did, and people have every right to complain about that. And I don't think someone like Wayne Rooney or any of the others, and I don't think any of the others said anything like that, to be fair to them, can complain if people do show their frustrations. After all, you're getting paid a lot of money to be there. You haven't, you don't pay to be there. You're paid to be there. You're paid to play for your country. You should be proud to wear that shirt, etc., etc. And you should put as much effort in as you possibly can, collectively and individually. And if people have a moan at you because you don't do it, and you patently didn't do it yesterday, I don't think you can moan too much. So that's my point on that, and I'm sure most other people would agree with me. A couple of other things I just wanted to say briefly, once again, things that have sort of come up as I've watched them. Is this still this amount of play acting that's going on with football? And this is one of the criticisms that anybody who doesn't like football moans about the sort of the way that people are, oh, you know, they fall over and as if they've been shot or poleaxed or something, and all they need is a magic sponge and they're up again, or because the referee doesn't blow for a foul, suddenly they miraculously recover, or a stretcher comes onto the pitch and miraculously they get up and they start running around. That needs to be dealt with, and that needs to be dealt with the technology that we've got. If we can see, because the referee cannot see everything. I've seen some good refereeing performances in this tournament, and I've seen some bloody awful ones as well. One in the German game the other day was absolutely diabolical. But that brings me to my next point about the use of the technology. We have a fourth official at these games now who's in contact with the referee. He can actually view video evidence and tell the referee that person didn't get touched, that wasn't a foul, or that wasn't as bad as foul as it might have looked. We should have, apparently you cannot appeal against yellow or red cards in this tournament. Yes, I know a lot of them are deserved. I'm quite happy to admit that, and yes, we should have yellow cards and even red cards for certain offences. No argument whatsoever. But when you see some of the yellow cards that are dished out, because sometimes it's just a genuine error by the referee, he thinks it looks worse than what it is. Fine, no problem with that, but then you have an appeals process. We've got so many TV cameras and different angles, they can show them instantly now on the TV screen and even on the screen within the stadium itself. So why can't the officials be able to use that evidence to help the game, to stop people having to miss games when you've got big, it doesn't matter who the player is, whether it's your star player or whether it's a defender, it doesn't matter who. If they have to miss a game and it isn't really their fault, the incident, it was worse than it actually looked, or something like, or the other person was feigning injury or something, we should be able to do that, whether it be a fine or whether it be a retrospective yellow card for somebody else who maybe should have got something. And this can work. The other ones I said, maybe people who can appeal against yellow or red cards, people should be able to be given yellow cards when the evidence is shown afterwards. The referee might have missed a tackle and everybody missed it, and then it's shown to be play acting, or it's shown to be a far worse tackle than was originally thought. You can give a retrospective yellow card. That would solve a lot of the problems with people falling on the ground and writhing around in agony or supposed agony when you know that there's nothing happening. Yes, serious incidents happen, of course they do. There are genuine casualties, whatever you want, injuries or whatever, and even sometimes you say, oh, he's putting that on, and then you see the evidence, you see the action replay, and I've just watched a game, the Japanese guy falls over and think, oh, here we go again, but he actually got clonked in the chin by someone's boot, and it cut him. But that didn't. It looked innocuous at the time, so it works both ways. So that's my sort of update for this week. That's the second week going on. We'll see what happens when, I suppose, all the final games are finished. Obviously, from an England point of view, and a point I was going to make, I was talking to my son later on yesterday. After we'd seen the game and digested it for a bit, I get to the point sometimes when I want England to be out of it. Yes, of course I'd like them to win, but I don't want them to win if they're going to play like that. I'll be perfectly honest. I'd rather someone who played attractive football won the World Cup. I don't want England to win the World Cup by playing the way that they did yesterday, or even the way they did against the USA. I want to see attractive footballing team win the World Cup. To me, that's what the game's all about. So if so be it, I'd rather they just got on the plane home and left it to the people who are actually going to play some decent football. And for me, as a viewer as well, we're supposed to be just attracting viewers to this sport. So you're not going to attract it by playing badly and winning, if you see what I mean. So anyway, rant over maybe. Seems to be what started these in the first place. They seem to turn into rants. Anyway, I will leave it there. Maybe I'll make another one of these if things sort of provoke me into making more videos about something that I'm spending a lot of my time watching, I suppose. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for your time. I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.